cookies.
Yeah, I figured
we got one in our neighborhood, Ricky.
Oh,
well, not in our neighborhood, but the town like we used to live in Cranberry.
Yeah,
so
good.
Nice.
What are the flavors this week?
Oh, this week, okay. So they are. Let me go through it. Okay, we have obviously the chocolate chip.
Are they the same at every store, like nationally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, same.
Okay.
We have blueberry cheesecake.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not in on that. Actually, that sounds gross.
No.
We have Rocky Road, which I'm here for.
Maybe.
All right. We have honey bun, which is
I
actually
could do that. Yeah, I could do honey bun. I used to tear up honey buns skating right.
It's actually not bad. I've had that one before. We have the Galaxy Brownie because you can't call it the Cosmic Brownie, but that's what it is.
Good.
Yeah. And then you have the cookie butter ice cream cookie, which sounds amazing, by the way. I'm here for it. And then, so here's what I found out. So if you go on like Monday or like Tuesday, sometimes they still have some cookies left over from the previous week. So sometimes I'll still grab some of those cookies.
I wish that I would have gotten in and like seen before they got rid of the sugar cookie, the pink sugar cookie.
Oh, yes.
Because that would have been up my alley.
The pink sugar cookie was good, I have to admit. Like, it was definitely
and it's like go-to. And it's like sort of an almondy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been.
I think that one is actually better than their chocolate chip cookie, but most people disagree with me. They like the chocolate chip, but oh well.
No, I don't like chocolate chip. I'll eat chocolate chip.
Well, just chocolate chip.
Okay.
Chip. Yeah.
I won't eat chocolate chip though.
Gotcha. That's too much chocolate for Pam Forrester.
Actually,
the Rocky Road would not be your cup of tea.
No. And I don't like marshmallows either. So.
Oh yeah, it's a chocolate cookie stuffed with marshmallow filling and then covered in semi-sweet chocolates and chocolate chips and almonds. So I'm here for it.
The more the chocolate, the better for me. And they have a blizzard now at Dairy Queen.
Oh my gosh, yes, the brownie one.
No, it's a drumstick one.
Ooh,
okay, we gotta get going here.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to podcast questions. Please put them in the comments below. If you have a question, we'd love that. I have some in the inbox to get us going. And we'll get cracking here. All right.
Crack-a-lackin'.
2107, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. I think. Yeah. Why is my pencil not working? Boop, 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 boop. I just got an Apple Pencil. That's awesome. Okay, there it goes. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2107 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope everybody is having a great week wherever you're tuned in and you're ready for some fun listener questions. I love the listener question shows because they're kind of all over the place. A lot of times we talk dining, we talk theme park reservations. Sometimes we talk cruise line, we can talk Disneyland. It's just a good potpourri, as we call it, of Disney fun. So today, speaking of Disney fun, we have two ladies that are always fun when it comes to talking Disney. We have Ricky today joining us from the mouseforless.com. Happy Wednesday, Ricky. What's going on?
Happy Wednesday. And I will say, we have summer here officially. This week, and summer is definitely here in Georgia because it is hitting 100+ degrees today. So woo-wee, it's hot. Really hot.
Yeah, it's heat really warnings all around. Everybody's getting a little heat warning, so find your swimming pool.
Yes.
And, convince the lifeguard or whoever is in charge of the pool to, instead of playing your top 40 station, just play a Be Our Guest podcast marathon to the swimmers there at your neighborhood pool. That'd be awesome.
Exactly.
Shout out to all the swimmers. Just kidding.
I wish we had a pool in our neighborhood. We do not, and it makes me sad. So
I know. Hey, I'm just going to help the lifeguards out. Walk. See, there you go. See, we're a public service at this point. Okay. Also joining us, we're heading up to Pittsburgh, where I bet it's hot too. I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates aren't hot, but the weather probably is. We have Pam Forrester. She's the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday, Pam. What's going on?
Happy Wednesday, and it's actually chilly here today. Isn't that crazy?
What?
The weather, I know, the weather last week was nuts, and then we had a day today. In fact, when we were outside, like I had a sweatshirt on. So, I mean, it's really that chilly. So we'll get warmer weather, of course, this week, and it'll bounce back up 20 degrees, I'm sure. So, but it's good. I mean, there's the weather report from Pittsburgh. So
that's right. We got it.
But you know what? It's hot here because 2023 Walt Disney World still I think our team is still really engulfed. Can I say engulfed? Because it's sort of a wave of 2023 in booking 2023. So it's awesome.
You want a hot take for 2023 that I've noticed? I see trends, right? I mean, I've booked a trip or two already for 2023. February 2023 is hot. That's the month. That's the hot to go to Walt Disney World right now. February.
Yeah. So if you're looking at those dates, let's get you locked in. Mike, tell them all it takes to secure their vacation for 2023.
The deposit's only $700. No, just kidding. It's only $200. I mean, just like you want to play like it's 2010, we can. The deposit's still the same. That's the one thing that hasn't gone up. So there you go.
Seriously, I think it's all the times that I've done this. In the whole time I've done this, I don't know that deposit amount has gone up.
I apologize if it goes up by the time this show publishes.
Right?
My apologies on that, but no, it's $200, totally refundable till the final payment for that package 30 days out. So there is really no risk, and you can lock in your dates. For example, today I worked with one of my great guests I've been working with for years. They're sailing the Disney Wish in November, but we booked their 2023 vacation for them, and they have a daughter who is a dancer, a competitive dancer. And of course, I'm in this same situation a lot lately where they know approximately in March of 23 when the dance camp's going to be, but they haven't gotten the official dates. What we did, I mean, it's just really smart. We locked in the entire week that they may be there.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Because it is available. And then what we'll do is we'll trim a day or two off the end or off the front. Yeah. And then they'll have the availability. And then somebody else will get lucky and they'll be like, oh, I was looking for that day. And, later on this year, that day will pop open and everybody will get happy. But, now's the time where you can do that, because if you wait till, November, December for a March trip, that could possibly not be there. So now's the time to play those games. Grab the rooms you might want, and then you can trim later.
Yeah.
Good call.
By the time you actually get the dates for said dance camp, the times that you want may not be available, or the room or whatnot. So it's weird how we've seen that happen again, right? Mm-hmm. For a while there, it didn't really matter when you booked. There was a lot of availability last minute and whatnot, but that's not what's happening right now. So
not for the beloved Polynesian, which is
I know, right?
So lucky. Okay, Chad's got a question in the live chat. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us live here on Facebook and YouTube. We love having y'all here. Hey gang, love the podcast. When do you expect Magic Kingdom Christmas party dates to be released? Thanks for booking another trip for us. Thank you, Chad. You're keeping us on the air, and we appreciate you very, very much. Ricky, I'm looking at you.
Yeah. I mean, if they're not already released this week, it's this week. I'm just saying, like, it's this week. The dates will for sure be released. And then tickets will probably go on sale like either next week or the week after, I would assume, somewhere around there. So I think there was like a 2-week delay from when they announced Mickey's Not So Scary and the release of the party tickets. So probably about a week or two before the tickets actually go on sale. But yeah, if they haven't already been announced for this week.
And so we are 99.9% positive this year is going to be a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party rather than a Very Merriest After Hours event.
Yes, exactly. Based off the fact that they're doing Mickey's Not So Scary again this year, and a few other things, I would more than likely assume it will be Very Merry this year.
It's always very merry. It's always very merry.
It is very merry. But yeah, and obviously you want to keep tabs on Disney this week because it is like the halfway to Christmas.
Oh, so, yeah. Think about that, man. Holy cow. Is it halfway to Christmas?
I guess so.
It was just March.
I know. So anyway, a whole bunch of Christmas details are coming out. So if you've got a trip planned for the holiday season this year, this week is the week to pay attention if you haven't already heard the news. So
Ricky just took down her Christmas lights off the go.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
really not wrong.
Deanna's got a question. She says, I have a question today. Going next September for daughter's Sweet 16 and the Halloween party, she is trying to decide between the Contemporary Garden Wing, the Polynesian, or the Beach and Yacht. What would you pick?
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll do a round here. I'll start with Pam Forrester. Okay, you cannot go wrong with any of these. I mean, you're talking all deluxe resorts, all great amenities. Pam,
these are all great choices, and honestly, I would leave it up to her to choose. Show her the 3 different rooms because they each have a very different feel. With the Contemporary now, you're going to see that Incredibles themed room, and that's even happening in the Garden Wing. So that's a great choice. The other plus for that resort is you're within walking distance to the Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
The Polynesian, of course, had that. Sorry, I have a cough drop on. So, in case you hear that clicking around as I'm talking.
It's better than coughing. Hey, man, we do not miss
It is
shows.
better than coughing.
We podcast injured sometimes.
We do. Yes, seriously, we
Here
do.
for you. So you got to be here for us.
I know, right? The Polynesian is such a great choice too because it had recently had those rooms rethemed in a Moana theme. And the great news with that is you can take the monorail to the Magic Kingdom. You can actually walk to the Magic Kingdom via that walkway that goes past the Grand Floridian. And also there is easy TTC transportation from the TTC to Epcot. So that kind of puts a couple within striking distance. Yacht and Beach Club, I think, are always great. The pool. Hello, the pool.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk about those resorts without talking about the pool. The other thing is they're within walking distance to both Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios, which really does help some mornings when you're trying to get in for maybe Rise of the Resistance. You can sort of beat the folks that are on some of those other modes of transportation. So something to keep in mind. But what I would do is you can go over to the Magic for Less Travel. We have videos actually of all of these different rooms and check them out and see if there's one that just really appeals to her. Like Mike said, you can't go wrong with any choice.
So if you had to pick one though for a Sweet 16, I mean, okay, you got a girl Sweet 16 party where you just, I will say I'm going Beach Club because it's September. And you just have the ultimate pool and you can walk to 2 parks. You got Epcot and the studios. And I think for a 16-year-old, those are 2 great parks. Because
I would have,
I'm going Yacht or Beach.
I would pick that too. The with the Polynesian probably as a runner-up.
I like the Garden Wing room.
I know.
They're huge. And they got kind of a 70s. Like I know they're going to redo them, but it's going to do that away. But Ricky, what would you say? We've kind of both gone Yacht and Beach.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna go the Polynesian, and the reason is because they were talking about the Halloween party and the ease to get back from the Halloween party late at night to the Polynesian is gonna be so huge. So you can you can do the Contemporary too because you can walk from there, but the Polynesian is where my heart is. So, it's gonna be so. Trust me when I say you will appreciate that late at night, how easy it is to get to the Polynesian.
And think about those Instagram pictures she could post from her Sweet 16 from the volcano pool with Cinderella Castle in the background. Like I'm in September. I'm at Walt Disney World celebrating my Sweet 16. Mm-hmm. Boom. Instagram bait, as they say on this commercial here in St. Louis for the come to St. Louis ad kind of thing. Good who says he's a famous guy from St. Louis. Cohen, I think is his name. Is he a actor? Andy Cohen? Is he?
Oh yeah, Andy Cohen. Yeah,
he says that on some commercial. He goes Instagram bait, and it shows the stadium, with, the arch in the background. Oh, it's like stuck in my head. Anyway, Alfred's got a good question. This is kind of topical. We talked about this on Sunday night. Would you spend $110,000 to visit all 12 Disney parks? Why or why not? Of course, if I had that kind of money, I would love to do that. However, I do not have that kind of money right now because I have a daughter who's 14 and who will be going to college soon and one who just completed college. So we're working on that as well. But this is a very niche thing that has been announced by Adventures by Disney, where you visit all 12 Disney theme parks around the world, 6 countries. You also get to visit the Taj Mahal. You get to visit the Pyramids of Giza. You visit the Eiffel Tower. And this is my favorite part. You get to go to Skywalker Ranch in San Francisco, all via a privately customized 757. And it's got long strike capabilities run by Iceland Air. I mean, this is like, I don't even know what to say. Scott and I talked about this on Sunday night show. So on Thursday, you can hear the replay. It's unbelievable. But I mean, for real, I'm Mike from the Midwest. I'm not from Annie. I'm not Daddy Warbucks. So this is, I can wave to the plane when it maybe flies over St. Louis, and that'll be my contact with this Adventures by Disney. This is a whole nother league, but it's amazing. And what's funny, we kind of brought this up because we actually kind of invented this trip at Christmas Eve in the Our Guest Podcast studios at one point. I think one of us gave this trip to
probably did. Yeah.
Point. You know, over the years we've done this, but the funniest thing is we had this conversation of like, you know, you have blue sky, you have brainstorming, and at some point they're like, okay, if we could really like do something, throw out cost and really like wow a Disney fan, forget what it's going to cost. What could we do? And this is actually what I think this trip is. And it's only for 75 people. So far, it's only going one time next July. I don't know, Pam, when you heard about it, what did you, I love it because this is for it is for the ultra elite, but I mean, you talk about a once in a lifetime experience. This is it. I mean, it's for the uber Disney fan.
It is. And when they were first presenting this to us before they announced it to our little MTAC group that they meet with, I was like, this is an incredible adventure. And it's not just in terms of what you get to see. I think the real sort of hidden treasure in this whole thing, the thing that makes this almost a value, is the people who are going to join you along the way.
Yes.
The different presenters. These are folks, now they're not announcing all of these. Some of these they are. But when they say things like, you get to see someone from the Disney family of wines, right? Mm-hmm. And they really, there's a small list that involves and some really awesome people. Like, I'm just going to say, like, think about maybe Kurt and Goldie.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's just really, but you never know. Like, this is something, of course, that they still have to, I'm sure there are negotiations and they don't want it to be released because it is really so exclusive in that space. The fact is that you're going to be on a private jet. There are not going to be issues with flights canceling or moving around or things like that. This is going to have that level of exclusivity. And it's a jet that they've sort of retrofitted and taken away half the seats. So you're going to have a good seat, right, with that. But it really is going to be the kind of behind the scenes access that only Disney is going to be able to give you, especially at some of these Disney sites and those people that are going to be speaking there with you. To see all the parks in one trip, incredible. 24 days of this, incredible. I just think that there's tons of things to do. Is this in my budget? No, it is not in my budget. But this would be an amazing trip. And I think what they did was, planning an Adventures by Disney vacation is unlike so many other vacations because you truly can book it and show up. It is not months and months of planning. They took all these vacations, which even if you were going to pay for them, still take a ton of planning and put them all together and packaged it up. And there are people who are going to book this. I'm excited for them. I think it's going to be an incredible vacation for them.
I said I want to see somebody like document the experience so that I can not to be a Instagram star, but I want to have the parks blog or something. Like, I want documentation of the journey, just because I want to see what it was like what was the plane like, what were like you said, who were the surprise presenters. Like, I mean, when we're flying up from Anaheim to San Francisco on this sucker, if I'm not sitting between Mark Hamill and Chewbacca, I'm fired up. I need to be sitting like, Chewie on the one side and lightsaber Luke on the other. And I mean, that's what I'm expecting on this thing. But it would be pretty awesome.
It would be. I mean, it would be a fantastic trip.
So Pam, real quick, how I found out about this, I called Adventures by Disney to, do something for a guest, and the automated system, they always have the numbers in the same order, right? And the first thing on Adventures by Disney is if you're a travel agent, push 1. So I called this morning and I'm just, I'm not even thinking. I'm just like typing and, the phone's doing its thing. So I'm just, multitasking. And the first thing that popped up is, if you're calling about our private jet service, press 1. I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
Because I was like, that's you. One's usually the travel agent. I hung up and called back and it was gone. Then it came back the next day. And I told Pam, I was like, I think they're having a private jet service.
Right.
Next day I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right, let's get to the next question. It is from Kevin. Thanks for being here in the live chat. Heard anything about 1900 Park Fair coming back? The girls absolutely loved the character interactions. In 2020, the stepsisters were arguing in front of us when I asked my daughters which stepsister they liked the best. Anastasia stopped in mid-sentence, looked at me and said, "Oh, nice. Which one of your daughters do you like best?"
Nice.
I love that.
That's amazing.
We have a story about that place too. But Ricky, I mean, V&A is opening up here at the end of July. So, I mean,
It is.
Yeah.
I've heard that it is overflow for something. Not entirely sure what it's overflow for. I'm not sure if I don't think it's the Grand Floridian Cafe, but I think it is overflow right now for something. So I don't know if it's kind of a small location to begin with. So I haven't heard anything about it coming back. You know, Disney hasn't really announced many other character meals coming back. There's only, the few that they had that have really come back. And so I haven't heard anything about this one. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but I don't know if it'll be here by July. Is that when he's going? Was that what it said?
It doesn't say when he's going.
Maybe I made that up. Okay. So yeah, I don't really know when it will be coming back. I mean, I'm assuming at some point it will, but nothing yet. So sorry.
That is a great character meal. I've only been to it that one. Now I've been to it twice, I think, but that one time we all went. Man, we were so tore up because we've been in the parks the entire day.
Yes.
We booked it like an hour before we decided to go there. We're like, let's go get something to eat, and that was open. We decided to go. We had been caught in a rainstorm earlier that day. I mean, we looked like a bunch of refugees, and we were in this Grand Floridian restaurant. And they took our like.
Oh yeah, they take a picture. Yeah.
They took a picture.
And we didn't buy it, but we swear they hung it up back in the kitchen.
But they were like, avoid this group of people. Like, the riffraff have arrived. It was one of those days. It was hot as could be. We had been in a rainstorm. We had all planned on going back to our rooms and changing before dinner. We ran out of time, and boom, there we were.
It was one of those things like, let's just stay and see the parade. And then when you do that, like, you're just done. Like, you don't have enough time to go back. And it was like, oh, dude, now, it's one of those things like you got to, when you say you're going to leave the park for your midday break, you got to commit to it. You cannot mess around and be like, we're going to do one more ride. Nope, that'll mess you up. That's what happened to us that day. We got caught in the rain. We ended up at Grand Floridian. All of us tore up, soggy socks, eating lobster off the buffet. It was getting made fun of by the stepsisters. Okay.
Yes.
That was a day.
She was mad at me. Remember, she popped out of that door.
Oh yes.
As I was walking by, and she was all like, oh, it was crazy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Aaron's got a question. Hey y'all, I've never done a Disney cruise. How far in advance do you recommend booking a cruise? We're used to booking our Walt Disney World trips a year or more in advance. All right, Pam, talk about booking a Disney cruise as opposed to booking a Walt Disney World trip. We've been talking about that, but how about cruises?
So my advice for all vacations moving forward is going to be book as soon as you have your dates locked down and you can book, right? And it's especially important to book a cruise as early as you can. Mm-hmm. Right now, we're booking into cruise itineraries through 2023, not all of 2023. So they're through the summer.
Yeah.
And those were released just recently. The reason why it's more important, even with Disney Cruise Line than Walt Disney World, is as the number of staterooms dwindle, right? As that ship gets booked up, the price actually increases. Yes. Disney Cruise Line and most other cruise lines have dynamic pricing. And that means that as the ship fills up, the price increases. You're not going to have those last minute deals.
No.
Like you used to. Every now and then there will be a rogue one that has a couple of guaranteed stateroom categories available at a good price. But Disney Cruise Line is not going to have last minute sales. Their best price is typically their day one pricing. And as long as that extends in. So you can reach out to one of the agents here at the Magic for Less Travel, and we offer a great 5%, up to 5% onboard credit in addition to the price that you're going to see.
Onboard credit, baby.
Yeah, yes. The onboard credit. What's our rule, Mike?
Can't use it.
Don't use it for tips.
Use it for something fun.
Yes, you better have fun with it, or else I will find you. Okay, so also too, just like we were saying with the deposits, I mean, it's good to lock that rate in with the deposit. The deposit's different on Disney Cruise Line. It's 20% of your fare, but again, it is 100% refundable until your final payment date, which can vary depending on the cruise length. From 60 days will go away here shortly, but it's usually between 90 and 180 days. So you'll know definitely if you're going to sail by then. So, but I mean, lock in early and then you're locked into that rate. So you're good. So that's best. And if you decide it doesn't work out, you can cancel. All right. Next question is from Andrew in the live chat. And shout out to William, who's checking in from the Magic Kingdom, who checked in during the live show from Epcot. So he's bouncing around Walt Disney World here as he watches our show. He says, do you have any tips or resources for you could share for people with sensory issues? My daughter has sensory issues, and I want her to have just as much fun as I've had there. So I have a little nephew who has sensory issues too. And of course, I worked as a public school teacher and had many students, that had to think about these kind of things. I think the number one thing I would offer, and we'll kind of all three give some suggestions, is just to prepare the child as much as you can for what the destination is going to be like. And I know that's hard because Walt Disney World is so dynamic and you don't really know what the day is going to be like, but you can, especially in today's day and age, you can look at YouTube videos, you can have discussions as to like things that could be loud, where prime example, Paige really didn't have sensory issues per se, but the first time Pam took her down, this was pre-Mike, right? We weren't dating or anything back then, but I was helping her. We were teaching next door to each other, and I was giving her advice, like informally. Didn't have the podcast, wasn't a travel agent, just a Disney fan. We're all that person, right? Told her all these tips. First ride she takes Paige on at Walt Disney World. Guess what it was? Scary Adventures of Snow White. Boom.
Oh man.
No.
Dude, I'm like, she's 4. Like, why would you take her? It was in Fantasyland. I'm like, well, that does make sense. But I mean, what the scary's on the name of the ride? She just freaked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, easy. How about Small World? Like easy. Or how about the train? Something like. Anyway, we still laugh about that. But it's one of those things like nowadays, you can have a good idea. You can watch the video 10 times, 20 times so that it's a predictable situation as much as you can make it before you go down. Also for loud noises. And I think Disney's really kind of cut down on as far as like fireworks. I don't think they're as loud as they used to be. I think they use more of like air to shoot them instead of, like gunpowder to get the fireworks to the peak where they explode, but they're still loud. I've seen a lot of kids with like headphones or the ear protectors, which I think is pretty cool because I mean, back in the day, my parents would have never thought of that. They're just like, too bad, it's just how it was. I don't like loud noises. Tough kid. I mean, it's just the
right
generation. But, those are the things I would say as much as you can have some, watch videos, have discussions and talk about what could be expected. But I understand Walt Disney World is very dynamic. So Ricky, what would you say for somebody like that? And I love this question's brought up because this affects more and more people every day.
Yeah, okay, first things first, do not go on Figment. I'm going to just warn you about that one.
Because it looks like a little innocent ride.
Yeah, exactly. That spot scares the bejeebus out of me. So I can only imagine, and I know it's coming. So do not go on Figment. And honestly, sometimes I feel like the pop-up ghosts in the Haunted Mansion get me too. So just a warning there too. But really I was going to say, like, just kind of take it at her pace. If she's starting to, freak out a little, which we've all been there. I used to be afraid of, audio animatronics, which is why I didn't want to go to Disney World. So, we all have our things, just kind of, and my parents made me go on things like that I was afraid of. So, just kind of take it at her pace. And if she's starting to say, hey, I don't like it or whatever, you just, listen, which I'm sure you will. And that's kind of the best advice that I have is really kind of go with her on the journey and make sure that you're following along with what she is telling you with it. So, but definitely do not do Figment. I'm telling you that right now.
Figment's kind of a hidden, seems like a simple, just little kids ride, but you're right. It's got a little, it could be, it could be a little startling. So Pam, what would you say?
I think too. So this actually used to be my wheelhouse because when I taught, it was with people who had special needs. So I think one of the things that is something that really helps anyone. But I think especially those who have sensory issues is to come up with sort of a schedule, maybe in a visual schedule. We were always big on visual schedules, have a written down schedule as something that we can all refer to and be like, so we all know what's coming up next, what's coming up first, what's coming up last, what's going to happen. I think that really is the thing. Well, Disney World does a great job with this in terms of, first of all, offering sort of supports out there. They have things like the disability access service, which you can access even before you're there if that's needed. There are break areas throughout the park. And if you ever find yourself needing them, just ask a cast member for assistance. But they're also in the baby care areas. You can do that too. There's going to be a quiet room there where you can sit and sort of do that. There are always companion restrooms. I don't know whether you need those or not, but that's something to consider. They also have a guide for guests with any kind of cognitive needs. So that might be something that you want to do. I absolutely believe that watching videos is going to be key. I think looking at the maps is sometimes something that's really, really important. That just because then you sort of have a sense of where you are. And practice doing some of the things that you're going to be doing. If lines are going to be something that are really challenging, I would create some situations where you're waiting in line, because even if you have the DAS pass, there's still going to be some amount of waiting for that. And so hopefully that helps as well.
Right. Yeah. Go to Chick-fil-A on Saturday morning, and there you go.
Right. I know. I know. But the sounds are usually a big thing. And I think, most people have some kind of coping strategy with that, the earplugs, the headphones, something like that is that. But I think just being prepared for what's going to be, it is going to be louder. It is going to be more overwhelming. It is that for everyone who walks in the door. It just is. There are days when I am there and I'm like, I just need to be away from the mass of people that are here. And it is just the constant talking, all those things that you hear. It's not even that there are people touching me or around me. It's just that there is so much noise all the time. So finding those quiet places is really, really important.
That's what I tell people that are going for the first time, just in my everyday life, say parents that are, parents from Mallory's cheer squad, or, just people in the neighborhood that I just come across, because they know that I'm like the Disney guy, right? Because I got a Mickey Mouse shirt on or something. And I try to explain to them that when you're at Walt Disney World, you're overstimulated all the time, all the time. Okay, so picture walking down Main Street. You picture any of the theme parks, but just picture walking down Main Street, because we all can put that in our mind's eye. You likely have like a horse drawn a carriage, like walking clop, 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 clop. And you have smells, and you're navigating between people. You're trying not to twist your ankle on the train tracks. But I mean, also there's a gigantic castle, which you want to look at. You're also trying to look into the Emporium. You have, probably maybe the Mainstream Philharmonic at the end of Main Street up by the hub playing awesome music. You might have the Dapper Dan singing barbershop music. I mean, you just have so much going on. Like, you are just constantly overstimulated. Even on a bus, you got background music, you got the bus driver trying to tell you stuff, you got conversations going on 3 different ways from other guests. It is non-stop until you get back to your room. And then a lot of us turn on the TV, it's like we can't, and then we got our phones going. Like, our brains, I mean, at home, we have a lot going on because we multitask all the time. But I mean, once we hit property, I swear our brains are probably just like, whoa, like, I mean, that's why I think even adults need naps down there, because I think our brains are just like, whoa, the amount of information we are processing in the background, like our brains are just smoking constantly. If you think about it, it's crazy. It's not.
No, that's a great point.
It's unbelievable. And some tips here, Aaron, I appreciate our audience. This is why we can all have better vacations, because we all rally together like this. Aaron says that he always takes foam earplugs to have a sound break during the day, and he doesn't even have sensory issues, but he just likes to just put them in and get a little peace and quiet, which is great. You could actually do that with your, so like I have AirPods Pro, and they have noise canceling, and you can put the noise canceling on and just not play anything. Everybody else around you think you're listening to music. You just bounce your head. No, I'm not listening to anything. I just don't talk to me right now. Just fake
right.
And then Tim's always in here too. He says the fireworks at the end of Soarin' made it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because it's very concussive, right? I mean, I think it's, it almost like your chair kicks back. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that I didn't think it's those sneaky little moments. I didn't like maybe even in well, I guess the fireworks like in El Rio del Tiempo, which I always call it that. That's not really too bad. Those are little fiber optic fireworks. I don't think those are good fireworks, right? I would guess.
Yeah, they're not loud, really. I don't think.
They're cute. They're cute. As Rudolph says. She thinks I'm cute. Jamie is in the live chat. She's over on YouTube. Says, what's the best way to go about booking Genie Plus rides and ADRs when you have a group of more than 10? Mas Diaz. What do you say, Ricky? Big groups.
Genie. Good luck. No, I'm just joking. With ADRs, a lot of times you want to split your group up, do 5 and 5 or 6 and 4 or something like that, and look for times that are right around the same time. So you won't be sitting together, but when you get to the restaurant, just let them know, hey, we are a group of 10. We have these 2 reservations. If there's anything you can do, that would be great. If not, we understand. So that's the best way, because I know that a lot of times, they don't really have those tables of 10, listed online. So that's going to be a helpful tip with dining for sure. And as far as Genie Plus, I mean, good luck. It's tough. I do know it's a little tough with the bigger parties. Make sure you're all obviously connected together. That's going to be key. So before you actually can get there and everything like that, just make sure that everyone is connected. And I know that there are sometimes glitches. Like right now, for some weird reason, I'm not connected to my brother. So like I'm trying to make reservations for us to go down in July, and I can make them for all of us except him. So I got to contact Disney about that. But just make sure everybody is able to be connected, and I think that's going to help a lot to start with. But I know that you guys have other tips for Genie Plus. So
I've never used Genie Plus with a large group, to be honest. So I really don't have any. The ADRs though, I would go like a 6 and a 4. Because think about it, there's really no tables for 10 or more,
right?
And there's plenty of tables for 4s and 6s. So if you want to go for those as close as you can. Pam, any tips for the Genie Plus? Anything you can think of?
If you have to think about breaking into groups too, that's something that you can do for that as well. I think, your experience is going to dictate if you need to shift your strategy when you're there or not. You can try doing them for groups of 10. If you find that that it's limited availability or whatnot, then break it down into smaller groups. And as long as you're within that same, time frame, you're still going to be able to get on. That's the thing you have to remember with Genie Plus. Your return time is an hour. There's an hour of time. So if you're overlapping for 20 minutes, you can all show up there at the same time and you'll still be able to experience the ride together. Mm-hmm. And so that's an important thing to really keep in mind when you're doing that.
And I will let you know, I know Disneyland's a little bit different, but we have Genie Plus for 5 days that we're out there, and we're going to have a group of 6. So we're going to burn Genie Plus to the ground.
There you go.
Disneyland. I know it's different because you make your first selection when you enter the park, when you touch into the park. But so that's a different system. But I mean, we're going to come back with lots of tips. So there are a lot of similarities. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, I'm almost on the plane. Look out, Long Beach Airport. Here we go. I cannot. Oh my gosh, I cannot stop because I'm getting ideas like John the Monkey Man Ramirez called me from Baby Cakes.
Oh yeah.
We talked to him on Sunday night. He's telling me all the places to eat. He told me about this baked potato. This got like a fried chicken crust or something.
Nice.
I dreamed about that last night, by the way. And then a place called Tommy's. I mean, I need to be out there for like a month, and I need 7 stomachs like a cow or something to get all this stuff in. But anyway, Eric, back to reality, because I still have 10 days before we leave. Eric left us an email here. He says, Mike, Pam, and Ricky, my son Ethan and I are preparing for an upcoming trip to the world this Thanksgiving. We don't get to go as often as we'd like, but we're definitely not rookies. We're trying to find a new and interesting table service dinner for our family of 6. Okay, here's the breakdown. 7, 12, 12, 15, and my wife and I. We've done most of the big name restaurants. We're looking for something new and different since it's been a while since our last trip. Do y'all have any suggestions for a fun dining experience for larger families? Thanks for the help, Eric. I like this. So they haven't been in a while. but they want something fun and kind of new. And they got 7, 12, 12, 15. So little preteens, teenagers, and the parents are just grown up teenagers. I mean, think about it. At least I am, So Pam, what popped into your head as far as like this? Thanksgiving time too. I don't know if that matters really.
I know. So what I was thinking was the Hollywood and Vine dine-in. I think because it does offer sort of a seasonal overlay according to what's there. At least it has. In the fall, we've seen there be a fall thing. We've seen there be a holiday one. That's always sort of fun. And the thing about a buffet is easy. Everyone can find something that they want to eat there. And I believe that was just announced recently that it's going to go back to the buffet instead of just the, what was it? Like all you care to eat thing, the specific thing. And that one is one that repeatedly seems to get sort of high marks in terms of the food that they're offering for that. So that may be a fun thing. We actually, I think it was last summer, we ate there for breakfast and I was not really looking forward to it going into it. I mean, I was like, okay, yes, I'm going along with it because we were with a group. But when we got there, we actually had really good food and I enjoyed it. So it was a good one.
You had to sacrifice a breakfast Ronto wrap for that, by the way.
I did. Yes, I know. I did. I didn't get to get that.
Oh my gosh. No. I hear you. You took one for the group. I like it.
I did. And I liked it. So that's the thing. I think that if you, so often I tell people don't go into it with expectations about what you're going to like or not like, because you may end up liking something you didn't think you would. So
yeah, because sultry teenagers go in there, no matter what, you're never winning them over if they don't want to be won over. But they, you know what? They'll like it. They just won't tell you.
Yes,
that works. Okay, so Aaron in the live chat again. Jungle Navigation Company Skipper Canteen over in Eventually.
Good choice, yeah.
Sleeper. I like Aaron with the sleeper.
I love the sleeper choice.
I places there all the time.
I know, me too. Until it comes up in my mind as the experience when I'm looking for a reservation when I'm at the park, and I'm like,
right.
Oh yeah, I could totally go to Jungle Skipper Canteen.
Right.
This place in Mama Melrose need a new agent because nobody knows they exist anymore. So okay, so Ricky, give us your sleeper hit for Eric's family here. What are you coming up with? I have one. I mean,
I have one, but I don't know if it's much of a sleeper. That's the problem.
We don't know. I mean, we're not Great Olmec or whatever.
I know. So honestly, the thing that I was thinking of when they were talking about the size of their family and everything, I seriously thought of 50s primetime. I mean, the last time I was there, I was by myself and I was dining next to this table. It was this large party of it was definitely a family, and they were having such a great time with our server. And they kind of included me and their family a little bit. So that was fun. But I really think that this would be a really good experience for a family like this. Giving everybody trouble about, getting their elbows off the table or things like that. That's the first thing that popped in my head when I heard this question. So that's what I'm going with. I don't know if it's as much of a sleeper, but I really think it would be a lot of fun for the family.
Not a sleeper, but a good choice.
I know. See, that's the problem. Not a sleeper, but a really good choice for their family, I think.
We didn't really officially say it had to be a sleeper, but we're kind of going that way. Yeah. And also, Tim says in the live chat, not just a sleeper, but Sanaa, which is that'd be a good choice. Now, that's more. I don't know if that's fun. You got animals to look at if it's not dark. So you have that entertainment aspect.
True. I mean, you could go Boma too, which is I feel like sometimes sleeper. Lately, I feel like it's a sleeper.
It's good food, man.
It's
that's
good food.
Really, I mean, especially if you got teenagers where they can just destroy food.
That's true.
Like that's good. Any buffet is good for you have a 12, and a 15-year-old. I'm sure they can destroy food. So that here's my pick. Now this is not new. This is as far from new as you can get. But I think this would be a great choice around Thanksgiving, and I think it would be just a blast. Hoop-de-doo review.
That's a good one.
I don't know if they've done it, but I'm just saying, you don't have to worry. Your kids can destroy as much fried chicken and all the home style food as you want. You know what? Teenagers are going to say this is the corniest show of all time. And it is. It is. But you know what? They're going to laugh. They are going to laugh, and you have your phone out and you videotape it. and then you post it to Instagram and you tag them so their friends all see it. No, I'm just saying. I think this would be fun. It'd be a fun night to go over to, especially around Thanksgiving. Go over to Fort Wilderness, hang out over there for a little bit, hoop-de-doo review, dinner and a show. It's a little bit expensive, but I think it'll be a fun experience. I don't know if they've done it or not, but that's what I would do. Fried chicken for days. Because you mentioned fried chicken over at 50s Primetime. I don't know if you mentioned fried chicken.
True, there is the fried chicken there.
But that's pretty good one. And Lisa also says Cape May Cafe. Good choice.
Oh, yeah, that is a good choice.
Another one. Yeah,
I like that.
Listeners, good stuff. All right, wait, that's going to wrap it up today because I got to go to KFC and get some chicken.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm really hungry for some chicken right now. So that's what I'm thinking. But hey, thank you for the great questions. Thanks for tuning in today. We love having you here as a part of the Be Our Guest podcast family. Don't forget, as always, our shows are brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. So we talked about it today. To swing by themagicforless.com this week. If you're interested in booking a Disney vacation for now all the way through 2023, just fill out that free, no obligation quote form, and an agent will get back to you right away. It's simple as that, no cost to you, and you'll see our outstanding service each and every time. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. It's one extra click that really does help us out. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And a sincere thank you to the patrons of the show. You guys support us each month and allow us to put the show out 3 to 4 times a week all around the world. And our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest, which this week I think I'm doing my first ever movie review because Dr. Kai asked, and I'm going to try for Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
That movie was so good because I never go to the movie theaters. Last movie I'd seen in the theater was Rise of Skywalker.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh. I shed a tear. I'll be honest. Spoiler. Oh my gosh. Talk to me, Goose. Okay. So if you want to get on that, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give Ricky a follow on social media. She's at Ricky Nibs. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike, and we all love to talk to you on the social. So come on over and talk to us Instagram and Twitter. Of course, we'd love a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. That means a lot. It helps spread the word for the show. And, we've been doing this for almost 15 years, but people still haven't heard of us. So we'd love if you'd drop some kind words over there so we can grow the podcast community. All right, we'll be back again on Friday. On Friday, we're going to start a 3-part series. I think you're going to enjoy this. It's going to be a lot of fun, where once we get it rolling on Friday's show, your feedback is going to help kind of drive the final 2 episodes of our little mini summer series we're going to do here. It's going to be a lot of fun. So until we get back together again on Friday, for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday, but it's time to head back to work. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. I missed the stop button. There we go. How do you miss the stop?
You missed.
I don't know. How do you miss the stop button?
Episode 2107. Edited. I love that word. Let's see. Put it in the right directory. Be Our Guest Podcast. Let's see. Dude, I'm so hungry. Oh, yeah. Liberty Tree Tavern would be so good.
Would be.
Gosh, I'm in the mood for like comfort food right now.
Ugh.
But you know what I'm getting? I'm getting Taco Bell because my mother-in-law got me a Taco Bell gift card for Father's Day. So she knows her way to my heart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we were bandanas for my father-in-law's.
Oh, I hate it. I miss bandanas so much.
His local barbecue place. So we all got together for my father-in-law on Saturday night for Father's Day, all the daughters, and so everybody goes. And that's when my mother-in-law gives it out to all the son-in-laws. And so I just looked at Elaine, my mother-in-law, and I just like, because that's what she always gets me for like Father's Day and like events like that. She knows.
Nice. That's fantastic.
I love you, Elaine. Okay, so let's do it. Let's talk about the morning part of the day. Morning, noon, and night. That's a 3-point series. You know what you call a guy with I probably shouldn't tell that joke.
Oh.
I'm so scared where that was going.
Tripod. That was the punchline.
Oh.
Wow,
that could go a lot of ways.
That's what I'm saying.
Make up your own joke.
Yes.
I am, and it's not going well.
It's not dirty.
Oh, well, in my head it is.
Okay. I was thinking dirty too, so.
You were? I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, when you stopped mid
Yeah,
sentence, I was
exactly. And then you end with that. I'm like,
like, oh,
okay.
Well, yeah. You probably shouldn't say that.
I wasn't thinking.
I was like, Mike's gonna Ricky it.
He is gonna Ricky it.
I guess I did. I wasn't thinking finger. Okay, let's do this before I get in any more trouble.
Mhm.
2109. Here we go.
See, Lisa agreed too. Thank you. See, it's not just us.
Yes,
No.
right.
Oh, God, get your minds out of the gutter. Get your minds out of the gutter.
That's where mine lives.
That's what the if the inappropriate joke ends like that, it's going. That's
where
it's going to be.
Okay, I'm Bert Convey, and this is Super Fast Word. And today's catchword is tripod.
Mike's gonna throw it in the podcast somewhere.
Whenever
you and I are just gonna lose it.
Ends up in a tripod.
Oh my god!
If you only listen to the edited shows, you miss all the fun stuff.
What was the show again where you said blank?
Match game, man.
Match game. Okay,
Yes.
Because we were doing that. I was doing that with Steve and Hannah last week after we got done.
Nice.
And no matter what it is, it can be completely innocent. It just sounds risque.
Risque. Yes, exactly. Yes. Oh my god! And Tim agrees with us too that you did not go well with that. Yeah.
Again, this is second week in a row. We got BOGP after dark, but it's
right.
But it's not after dark.
But
it's before dark. But you know what? This is late for us.
It is.
Totally. We're winding down our day.
I go to bed again, man. It's after dark here. Oh God, here we go. 2109. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2109 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and a senior agent over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you are having a great wrap to that work week. It was very productive and you are ready for a relaxing and fun weekend here as we kick off the first weekend of summer 2022. Even though most teachers, if you are not out for summer vacation on the East Coast yet, just quit going to work. I know you guys, like the East Coast, you never get out of school for summer break. Like it seems like it's like the 4th of July. People in the South and in the Midwest, I mean, they're halfway through their summer vacation by now. So God help us. Everybody better be on summer break by now. For all the teachers, you've worked hard. You need to be in the pool this weekend with your favorite beverage in hand and just getting ready to buy fireworks for the 4th of July. It's coming up quick. And we're going to kick it off here by having some fun, starting a 3-part series here on Fridays. And I think this is going to help you plan a better Walt Disney World vacation here for the rest of 22 and moving into 23. So joining me today from down in Atlanta, Hotlanta, I've heard, we have Ricky from the mouseforless.com. Happy Friday, Ricky. What's up? Happy
Friday. I'm ready for a fantastic, relaxing summer weekend. That is what I'm ready for. It's going to be nice and super relaxing. So
that's awesome. But
that's my goal.
Not to make this show about me, but we are today. But do you know where I'll be a week from tomorrow?
I'm gonna guess it involves somewhere that's on the West Coast, but that's just a guess. Yeah,
I'll be so jet lagged because I've never gone anywhere more than one time zone away. So I'm going 2 time zones away.
You are. Imagine now when I go, it's 3 time zones away. That's really trippy. So yeah. But
I'm going across something called the Continental Divide.
Yeah, you are. So
making this trip out like. I know Adventures by Disney announced that like 6 country, like around the world trip. Disneyland is that for me. So Adventures by Disney, stop raining on my parade with that big old trip. This is a big trip.
Right. Exactly.
They're like, haha,
we got you. You think you're going on a big trip? Nope. We got something better.
Nope. Rallman going to Disneyland is the equivalent of Forrest you doing the all around the world trip. This is how I'm just saying that's how it is to me. So oh my gosh. I do not know how I will survive the next 7 days because I've been holding on for the last 2 months. I'm so amped up. I mean, I keep telling Pam, like we go on these daily walks in the morning with the dog now that she's out for Christmas break, summer break. And I keep telling her, Pam, I'm getting out the suitcases. She's like, you are not getting out the suitcases. It's too early. I'm like, I'm getting them out. I'm putting my hats in them. You are not getting the hats in the suitcases. We're not clogging up the bed.
We're not doing it yet.
We are almost in suitcase pull out of the storage room territory. We are close. But my wife packs the night before. It drives me crazy. I don't think she's home. I hope she's not home upstairs, or I'm in big trouble.
I packed the night before too. So.
Brutal. And I'm always trying to go to bed early because I just want to get to bed.
That's the problem. Yeah.
The night's over and I can get ready to go. Anyway, joining me from the Magic for Less Travel, she's the co-owner, Pam Forrester, the ultimate traveler. What's up, Pam?
Well, so not to rain on your parade, but I leave the end of this week because I will be going on the Wish.
Do we know what the horn's going to be for the Wish?
Yeah, isn't it? Well, I've heard a dream what your heart makes.
No, that's already used.
I know.
Think that's on one of the other ships.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard that one. I don't know if it has its own horn. I mean,
I don't know. But anyways, I will be on the I don't know which they call it. When they have regular guests on first, they call that like the inaugural, and I think I'm on the christening. But anyways, I get to go on that the ship, one of the first sailings of the Wish. I'll do live videos on the Magic for Less Travels Facebook, and we'll do some on Instagram too, hopefully, to show up. But yeah, I know I'm so looking forward. First of all, I think these rooms look the best by far. Mm-hmm. There is something so classic and yet elegant about these rooms. I can't wait to be on that ship. The lobby looks like so much taller than the other lobbies, doesn't it? Stunning. There's so much about it that looks really cool. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. And the Wish.
Here's my problem. Here's my dilemma, Pam. Here's my dilemma. Okay. I want to watch all the videos and all the content about the Wish when it comes out. And yet I don't, because I will be on it in like a month and a half from when it actually, debuts. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? I want to watch it so bad.
It's not like it's a new attraction. It's not like knowing what the room really looks like will lessen your enjoyment of it.
I'm all in. I'm watching because I got a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you're staying in the funnel because that's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
right? Oh my gosh, exactly. Right? No, I am not. I don't know who will be in the funnel, but
it's not you.
No, hopefully they'll let us tour some of the different
that'll be cool
staterooms. It's going to be a really great experience. It's just a short cruise, but yeah, I'm glad I'll be down there for a few days to get to do it. And yeah, I know they're having a few pre-cruise. That's what always. So the inaugural cruise is never the first cruise. No. They're having, I think, probably 10 sailings before the actual inaugural cruise.
I think it's funny the people who are like all up in arms going, oh my God, the first cruise got delayed and now the first cruise is, media and all that. And I'm like, it's always been that way. Like, have you been living under a rock? Like the first cruise?
No, they do.
They
got to work some kinks out too. Yeah. I mean, they've got to see how things are going and whatnot. So it will be great. Steve and I are sailing on this one, but we're actually sailing too in the fall. And we were making our reservations for dining and whatnot during that too. I mean, Enchanté looks so good. Yeah, and the Palace Steakhouse looks great. I think there's a lot to look forward to with this ship. And a new ship is always so exciting. So I love being able to experience something new.
I'm so hoping I can get into Palo. I'm so hoping right now. I can't get in yet. And I'm hoping that when I get on the ship, I'll be able to, but because I want to experience Palo for sure.
Yeah, when you get on, just try for the early boarding time and then go right there.
I mean, that's what I'm going to do, right?
They learned the lesson from that one cruise called the Titanic with those inaugural cruises, right? That's,
right. Yes. Ever since then, there's been pre-cruise
we'll
cruises.
throw media on that first cruise just in case. Somebody will miss them. No,
right.
just playing. Just a joke. Jesus, just kidding. Okay, so today, I'm super excited for it. I'll be watching all the coverage. And so, we're going to have a lot. So follow all three of us because Ricky's going to be on the Wish soon. Pam will be on the Wish imminently. I will be at Disneyland with Scott. So
and I'll be in Disney World in between all of this too. Yeah. We're all like, it's the summer of Disney for the three of us. So
we're everywhere. We're at all the destinations. So
exactly.
Because Scott will have that thing on me trying to get out of a Matterhorn bobsled.
Yes, this is true.
48-year-old dude with a rickety back. When they're like, I don't know what the equivalent is to Reedy Creek ambulance district. I don't know if it's the Orange County ambulance people, but they maybe pried me out of a bobsled. So like, I want a sticker that says I survived the Matterhorn bobsled. Anyway, so today we're not talking about Disneyland. What we're talking about is Walt Disney World vacations. And what we're going to do over the next 3 Fridays is break the day down into three chunks. So we're going to talk morning, noon, and night. So we're going to take all 3 parts of the day for your Walt Disney World vacation. A lot of these could be applied to Disneyland as well, but Walt Disney World's kind of its own beast with transportation and, more dynamics to think about as far as what you really, really need to focus on and what some of the benefits and pitfalls can be for that particular part of the day. From the time, for example, today, obviously, we're starting the series off. We're going to talk about mornings. So we're going to talk about as early as you can go. So for some people, I know that, over the years, we've had folks on the show that like to get up at 4:30 in the morning and, take their coffee out and really enjoy walking Riverside before the sun comes up or going for a run. Your day can start as early or as late. You can be a Ricky and get up at 10:30, but I mean, you've lost half your day at that point. I wouldn't recommend it, especially when it's summertime and it's, by the time Ricky gets up, the heat index is already 110.
Exactly. Yeah.
At least when I get up, the heat index is 80, for at least for a couple hours because sun's not up. But we're going to talk about like what kind of things to think about. What are some of the benefits to that part of the day? What are the pitfalls? What do we need to think of to maximize that chunk of the day? So today we're talking mornings and we're going to cut it off at 11 o'clock a.m. because next Friday we're going to talk about next Friday can get a little hairy, but there's benefits. But I think next Friday's show is going to be kind of the most challenging part of the day because with theme parks, I tend to not be in the theme parks during that middle part of the day, at least in the summertime. It changes for the winter time when I'm down there for like fall races, winter races. That definitely changes. So we'll talk about how the time of year changes, how these things can vary. But for right now, it's summer, so we'll kind of focus on summer, but we could talk through this. So let's talk early morning to 11 o'clock in the morning. So when I think about that, Ricky, of course, you're on the later side of things, but seriously, what are we thinking about as far as staying on site or sometimes you drive in? What do you think of for the morning time at Walt Disney? What is most important? What are some of the benefits and pitfalls?
Well, I think obviously now with, Genie Plus and virtual queue with, Guardians, obviously one of the big things is you are going to want to be up at that 7 a.m. time slot. If you've purchased Genie Plus or you're looking at purchasing individual Lightning Lanes or you are looking at making that, virtual queue for Guardians, that's just going to be key in making sure that you have a good day set up. So that, if when you do get to the parks, you're good to go. So I would say definitely make sure you set that alarm, not for 7 o'clock. But if you're not already up like me, I'm not up at 7 on a vacation. It's just not going to happen. So, I'm setting it for, I know Mike is going to have hives when I say like, I set it for like 6:55. I know he's going to be saying like, set it for 6:45, set it for 6:30. I don't need to be that awake for this. I can be fine with 5 minutes lead time. And then I wake up.
I would say, don't whine to me when something doesn't work. It's
not going to work for me anyway, because it never works. So that's why I'm not getting up any earlier, because as soon as I log in, it's going to say no error. And I'm like, oh, so yeah, I'm just not even going to
put a shirt that says, don't whine to me, Ricky.
Exactly. So
You got that extra 5 hours or 5 minutes of sleep. I hope you enjoyed it. That's what
I sure will. I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of it. Yes, I am. I get up and then I go back to sleep because that's me. And I'm like, okay, I can get a few more, like another hour and a half of sleep. I don't get up at 10. I usually on vacation get up at like 9. 9, maybe I'll sleep until 9:30. It depends on, how I'm feeling or how late I was up the night before. But yeah, I'm usually like, somewhere in that time slot. So yes, I do sleep in and I enjoy the fact that I sleep in. But if I am looking at making sure that I'm maximizing my day, I will get up at that 7:00 time slot and make my, individual Lightning Lane, Genie Plus, or Guardians, or virtual queue, whichever attraction has a virtual queue open. So I'll make those reservations.
And I think you made kind of the greatest point for what the morning is right now in 2022, moving into 2023 for Walt Disney World Vacation is this is your work chunk of the day. I mean, again, this is vacation, but you do have to think about if you're using Genie Plus, or you're trying to get some Lightning Lanes, you're trying to set up virtual queues for certain attractions that have them when you're there. This is the time you got to get that work done because it will definitely determine how the rest of the day falls.
Yes.
At least starts to cascade. It's not the be all end all. I mean, you don't have to make your first Genie Plus at 7 a.m.
No.
But it gives you the advantage. So that's a good point. Now so I want to get to Pam, and because Pam is like me. There's a lot of people. I mean, some people are night owls, and I get it. I mean,
that's me. I'm a total night owl. Yeah.
Not everybody, and I get it. I mean, I always joke about it. It's always just a joke. I mean, I am a morning person, so that's me. Pam is too. So, Pam, what do you think about as far as early morning benefits and at the resort, and then kind of getting rolling with your vacation?
Yeah, I do. I am absolutely a morning person. I know that there are people who don't like that and don't like that other people are morning people, and I would be annoying to that person.
No!
But thankfully, both Steve and I are. And we just wake up when we wake up all the time. If anything, on vacation, I tend to wake up even a little earlier because you're sort of excited to, you know what I mean? That whole thing, I think, is there. For me, no matter where I am, having a cup of coffee is like a start to the morning. And by getting up early, I feel like I have time to get that cup of coffee and maybe get some breakfast before I even need to be in the theme park. And for me, that's really sort of a benefit because the theme parks don't have a ton to choose from in the way of breakfast, open breakfast eateries. And they, thankfully, if you get there later on, the lunch places start opening 10:30, 11, something like that. So you will be able to find something, but there aren't a ton of locations open for breakfast. So it's sort of essential that you get breakfast, I think, at your resort.
Agreed.
I think that's, if you're a breakfast person and you want to eat breakfast, that's an essential part of the morning. And you can make that happen by getting up early. The other thing is too, I think that it is the transportation that is happening first thing in the morning that is likely going to see some of the larger crowds. Now, we're not talking like park closing right after the fireworks kind of crowds, but you may have to wait a time or two for a bus in the morning. One may come up and it may be completely full. So that's something to think about too. You can sort of look at when the park's going to be opening. And if you're lucky enough to be staying on site, you get those 30 minutes before other guests get to come in. And I love this. I will tell you, I love this more than the 1 hour of extra magic hours that used to happen, because that was only certain parks on certain days. And you sort of had to, line things up with that, right? If you didn't have a park hopper ticket, you had to plan on spending the entire day in that park that had the extra magic hours in the morning if you wanted to. Now you can go to whatever park you want to because they're all open 30 minutes earlier for guests staying on site. And I would plan on being there probably I would plan on getting to the park 15 or 20 minutes before that time is supposed to open for other guests. Don't you think, Mike?
I totally agree with that. And here's another thing with the transportation in the morning. Say you're staying at like a Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, what have you, Riverside or something, and you're heading to the Magic Kingdom. You're not using the Skyline or something like that, a boat. So a lot of times when you'll go out there early in the morning, you'll see a lot of people in line for the Magic Kingdom. Okay. So here's the thing though. If you're going at park opening or, an hour before park opening, 30 minutes before park opening, while you will see a long line of guests, Disney's going to keep sending buses and buses and buses at that time. Now, if the park opens at 9 and you go out there at 10:30 in the morning, while there's not a lot of people waiting for the bus, a bus might come every 20 minutes where you might see 10 buses in 20 minutes at park opening or before park opening. So even though that line does look intimidating, because I've been in this situation many times because I go early, it tends to, and I mean, people can come back at me like it didn't happen like that on my trip.
There's this one time. Yes.
There is outliers. I mean, yeah, it's happened to me too. But for the most part, you will see just buses coming in because they want to get everybody there. They don't want you standing out in the sun. They want to get you there and getting on with your day. So, I mean, Pam, you've probably seen that too, is that while it does look more intimidating early in the morning, you may wait less to get to the theme park and waiting all the way back to almost like the old Magical Express, like Porta Couche, Pop Century, than if you're just standing there in the stalls.
No, it's true. And the other thing I think that in the morning, you have to kind of take all the conversations around you with a big grain of salt, right? Because people are there in the morning. Some people are crabby because they're up early and it's on their vacation, or maybe they haven't had their coffee and things like that. Everyone knows how to run it differently. I will just tell you, in line, everyone is a transportation expert. It's so true.
It's true.
I'm just like, it is, and I learned long ago to just keep my mouth shut, right? And listen to all the things, because everyone has an opinion about how Disney should be doing the transportation differently. Of course, there's just one theme park in the world that does as much transportation as Walt Disney World does, and it is Walt Disney World.
Right.
So they have a little bit of experience in it. Does it always run as smoothly as one would like? It doesn't, but it's the morning. You're up. Make sure, grab a coffee and a snack to keep everyone happy in line, and just go and know that you're going to go to an awesome theme park that day, and you will get there very soon. So
I want to throw this in, folks that are tuned in live here on Facebook and YouTube, which we always appreciate as we record live on Mondays. John says it's wonderful getting a run in before the rest of the family is up getting ready for rope drop. That's exactly what I do. And one of the tips that I have for that is when we kind of decide where we're going to sleep in the room, I always take the spot in the room that is closest to the door. And I lay my shoes out, my everything that I need, like my visor, my buddy pouch that I put my phone in. I lay it all out so that I can make as little disruption as, of course, I got to get up and use the restroom and stuff and put my contacts in, but I try to make it so that I'm not, obnoxious trying to wake everybody up, because again, I have teenagers and my wife is not particularly a morning person. I mean, she will get up, and if I tell her what time I want to be at the park, she will be there, but I get up and run, I'll run 10 miles before and still be able to get a shower and breakfast and make it to the park before, in 45 minutes before it opens, so I'm getting up at like 4:30 sometimes. So I try to make it so that I don't get killed by my family. But another point that kind of piggybacking on what John says is that if your family's not morning people, but they are kind of working with the person who is a morning person, who's a big Disney fan, like, we got to be there an hour early. And they're there with you, but they're not with you. Like on all, they're not listening to our show, but they're going along with you, right? We got those family members. We all do. I do. Yeah. Okay. So here's another thing you can do. You can mobile order breakfast for everybody. And this is a sneaky way to get your family out quicker. Like you look like the hero. Like, okay, so the night before, go in there and say, hey, what's everybody want for breakfast tomorrow? Okay, so go on the app, order everybody breakfast, and then mobile order it. And then what you do is you go down to, like, if you're a Pop Century, to get the food, bring it back to the room, and you look like a hero. But really what you're doing, you're killing two birds with one stone, man. You're feeding them real quick, and then you're getting out the door, and boom, you're getting on that bus and going and having fun. You're getting what you need to get done, but they're getting you. Hey, you're the hero, man. You're bringing Egg McMuffins to everybody. Not Egg McMuffins, but you're bringing breakfast burritos or whatever you're bringing. And everybody's it's just things like that. And again, I think I said this on a show a few weeks back. a successful morning starts the night before, charging your devices, getting your stuff laid out, giving everybody the plan for the next day. What's going to happen? That's 90%, especially with teens. That is 95% of the battle is the night before. You don't want to try to handle stuff at 6:45 in the morning. You're trying to get on the bus at 7.
There's going to be an upset about the device that has not charged, and it is tragic and going to ruin the rest of the day.
Yeah, I mean, the Osceola County Sheriff could be called. I mean, there's all kinds of Orange County. I mean, SWAT team. Seriously, a phone doesn't get charged the night before, all bets are off. I mean, it's not good. All right, Tim also says that he let me hit this here. He says, I've gotten there at the last minute for those extra 30 minutes for on-site guests, and getting in that 1 minute ahead of the crowd easily saves him an hour in line. So yeah, just getting there ahead of the general public is a huge factor for the on-site guests. All right, Ricky, let's go back around. So I didn't even give mine, but mine is, it's just cooler in the morning. I mean, it's just, I think people the cast members, everybody is kind of more perky those first few hours in theme parks. I swear, like, I think people start to peter out, come noon in the high sun. And it's like, you hear that old, they always play like in Westerns. That's how I kind of feel like Fantasyland was like all happy and perky in the morning. And then at noon, all of a sudden it turns into,
oh my gosh. My ears just like blew up.
I don't know. There's the Desperado thing. I'm ready for somebody to pop out, and it's just like survival through, for the midday. So like everybody's all happy, but then it's like gets hot and everybody gets crabby. So in the morning, I think everybody's happier. Okay, so what else for the morning? What else are you thinking about?
Well, so for me, because obviously I'm a lot different than you guys, am thinking about breakfast, and yes, I am thinking about it at like 10:30. So I'm looking at the very latest breakfast that I possibly can at Disney. And that 10:30 slot is usually the last slot I can get. So I usually, I agree with Pam. I don't particularly think that Disney has the best breakfast options, especially with quick service. I feel like quick service is it leaves a little bit to be desired for sure, unless you want Mickey waffles every single day, which
real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you. What it's hard to find for breakfast is like a protein breakfast in the parks. It's something it's easy to get like a cinnamon roll or like a donut, something. But here's the problem: like when I run in the mornings, if I don't have something with protein, I'll get the shakes. If I eat like now don't get me wrong, I love those pink donuts. Oh my god!
Yes,
or Gaston's Tavern, that big. I always get that cinnamon roll and a Coke Zero. But if I don't get some kind of protein in me at some point, like I get the shakes so bad. It's hard to find protein for breakfast. Quick,
it is, and and the resorts are one thing. I mean, they have that's stuff. Easy. But there's still not a lot of options in the resorts. But when you get to the theme parks, I mean, goodness, the theme parks are ridiculously difficult to find breakfast items, which makes me very sad. So I usually will that's why I usually plan for a table service meal. Again, I know it puts me so behind the 8 ball of everybody else. And I'm so the opposite of most everybody who's going to Walt Disney World who listens to podcasts like this. But I am just looking about enjoying my time. And so Brian and I definitely enjoy having that table service breakfast in the morning. We've gotten really into doing that. We do it a lot actually now. So we end up booking a table service breakfast. And a lot of the times I won't even have that table service breakfast booked until the night before, and I'll look on the app and I'll be like, okay, what's open? What sounds good? So, that's kind of where I go with it because I'm just kind of winging it at that point. But there are times when I am looking to make that, scheduled, reserved breakfast ahead of time. Like I just actually, while we were recording, I was like, I should probably make some reservations for, my birthday trip in July. So I was like, where do I actually want to dine on my birthday? So I just made a reservation right now for Ohana. And I'm like, that looks good. I like this. So we'll see if this actually is where I end up going for my birthday. But right now, that's where I was like, it's a special day. I want to make sure that I have a good birthday breakfast. So like, if there's a day where I know I really want to make sure I have something, and unique because I haven't been to Ohana in forever and it's available, then I'll take it. But now the one I'm looking for is the Topolino's, which I haven't been to in a long time, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get back at this point. But I think that having that for me, a table service breakfast is kind of where it's at. And I get where everybody else is like quick service. And that's perfectly fine. But for me, it's definitely that table service breakfast. Now, if you don't want to have any kind of breakfast, like Mike said, make sure you bring some sort of something snacky so that it gets you going in the morning. So, whether that's, a Pop-Tart or, Mike has always done Rice Krispie treats or, granola bar, something along those lines. So that way you have something to get you going and started. Because, you are walking a lot. It is hot. And you just want to make sure you have something kind of in your stomach before you actually really settle out. And, heck, like Pam says, make sure you have coffee. That's a must for me as well at that point. So whether I'm making coffee, in the room, in the apartment, going to grab Starbucks on the way to the parks, whatever, I've got to make sure I've got some sort of coffee going. So that's key for me as well. So.
And I will say, kind of piggybacking on you, one of the things that we kind of fell into, this was probably 10 years ago, at the last minute, I can't remember if it was Paige, Mallory, or Pam wanted to do this. We wanted to go to Chef Mickey's, and it was kind of a last minute thing. So the only time we could get for Chef Mickey's was like 10:50.
Yes.
For breakfast. Okay. So we're like, that's terrible. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're like, because we usually went we'd go super early and then go to the Magic Kingdom and start our day. That was always what we did. And that's kind of what you think is like logical, sequential thinking, right? But here's what we found out. So what we did that day is we got up and instead of eating a breakfast, we would eat like a Pop-Tart or like a Rice Krispie treat, something just enough to get us through the morning, just enough, yes. Right? And we went to the Magic Kingdom and rope dropped, and we did a ton of attractions. Like we did like 10 things, like in the first 2 hours it was open. Then we jumped the monorail over to Chef Mickey's like 10:30, 10:40. We went early. We got in like at 10:30 or 10:45 and just ate it up. Cause by then we had been in the Magic Kingdom for 2 hours. We were starving. Yeah. We were getting hot. It was starting to get hotter out. We got in the air conditioning. And I mean, I'm telling you what, that was the best meal ever because we were so hungry. We were like already going. And, we've done this more than once now because now, like, if we're at the Magic Kingdom, we'll do that for like Ohana breakfast, like the last breakfast seating. We'll do that. And it bounces you out of the park when it starts to get hot. And then you don't need lunch. And a lot of times you can just do a little quick service dinner that night because you're kind of already full. And that covers your entire day. Mm-hmm. And it was an accident that happened. Pam, have you ever done something like that? We fell into it, but you don't think about breakfast at like 10:50 if you're up early, but it worked out.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I think it's that kind of thing. The more you travel, the more you see, this is what works for me and my family. These are the things that are important to us. Sometimes like the meal thing is not important to another family. Sometimes what's more important is like pool time, or sometimes it's more important that they're up in the evening or they do all the nighttime things. So that's what I think that you sort of kind of figure out, okay, this works for me. There's lots of different ways that people like to spend their mornings when they're on vacation. I think that strategy is a good one too.
And two, I don't think you're fighting as many ADRs. Like I think more people are going for like a 7 a.m. ADR than they are for like a 10:30 ADR. So I think it's giving you more chance, especially we always have people asking for like larger groups, that could be your hack,
That's true.
Bring some Rice Krispie treats, snack on something just light, because you want to tear it up for the buffet or the family style meal later. But, I think at 10:30, you're going to see more availability. And it also, like I said, to get you out of the park, get you to the resort.
A lot of places are offering a brunch option too. Now, I know that typically there are most of the time only on Saturdays and Sundays, but just kind of look, they do have now when you're searching for.
Not Olivia's.
Yeah, I know. Olivia's is all day, all the time. Yes. And that's why I'm saying search they actually have now in the My Disney Experience app a selection for brunch. So, you can always select that too. So that way you kind of get the best of both worlds if you are looking for that. So that's definitely an option as well.
All right, Pam, give us something else to think about for the morning time at Walt Disney World.
Well, of course, you're going to want to consider your Disney Genie Plus or your virtual queue, or your lightning lane attractions. Those are all going to be things that happen in the morning for you. The Genie Plus, if you weren't able to get in to add that to your 2022 vacation before they stopped making that available, or you're looking at 2023 vacations at this point, you're going to have to add that each day of your vacation. And you can either do it right before you go ahead and try to make your first Genie Plus arrangement in the morning, or you can do it later in the day. Of course, if you're not going in until later in the day, they're saying that it's going to be available sort of the night before for you to purchase. And then you would then get up early that morning before 7 o'clock, of course, to be ready to make your first Lightning Lane attraction reservation through Genie Plus or the individual Lightning Lane. I know that's a lot of words. The individual Lightning Lane, still, right? It's still a little bit confusing, but if you purchase Disney Genie Plus, you're going to have access to most of the Lightning Lane attractions, except for the couple in each park that are only available as an individual Lightning Lane purchase. And that is separate than Disney Genie Plus. You don't need Disney Genie Plus. You can just make those reservations separate. Also, right now this summer to consider, we not only have an expanded Disney Genie Plus access to Lightning Lane attractions, but we also have the virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy. So those are all things that you're going to have to be thinking about early in the morning. And just like Mike suggested, coming up with a plan for charging your devices and things like that, I think having a plan going into this, knowing what you want to do prior to that morning is going to be essential. Because if you're just waking up and you have your phone in your hand and you're trying to do whatever, and you don't have plan A, B, and C, it's going to be a point of frustration for you if it doesn't work out exactly the way you want it to. So.
I totally agree. But, we've talked about a lot of really practical things that are going to help you, like, quantify your vacation. You're going to see more attractions, or you're going to wait less minutes in line once you're there. Maybe you're going to be in a shorter bus line, stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of advantages to the morning that are, quality of life kind of things. And, Pam kind of mentioned it, a cup of coffee, walking around your resort. For example, I go on runs, but I mean, this is just as wonderful if you're just like up walking around with a cup of coffee in your slippers or your, sandals or something, that you're in Florida, especially if you're down there and you're from somewhere like Pittsburgh or St. Louis or somewhere where it's cold, and you're down there in January and you wake up and it's 75 degrees, in the morning, and you get to see a sunrise in these beautiful places. I mean, I think of Riverside, for example. I mean, when you watch the sun come up over the Sassagoula River, French Quarter, and that river is just flat as glass, and you see kind of that, the grass has like a mist over it. I mean, I've said this many times that Riverside reminds me of like walking through a postcard. But I think it's almost at its most beautiful right as the sun's coming up behind the mansions or behind Alligator Bayou, or those just gorgeous like bridges that go over the river there. And then sometimes you'll see that first boat of the day make its way down and have the first ripples in the river. There's just something about that. There's something about mornings, and even a Pop Century. I mean, I know Pop Century is not like the most tranquil, peaceful, you wouldn't probably call it beautiful, but I'll tell you what, when I run around Hourglass Lake and I get out there before it's dark and then I watch the sunrise, many times you'll see hot air balloons up in the air, and you'll see, I'm telling you what, there's a beauty in the buildings at even Pop Century and Art of Animation at sunrise, with that, sky turning from a dark, black to, that fire orange as the Florida sun comes up. It doesn't matter. The values are beautiful too. And at sunrise, just that cool, crisp feel of a fresh day. You don't have to fight the crowds. You don't have to be in a line for the bus, but you could do both. You could still have that cup of coffee, get out, see your resort, and still make it back, have breakfast, and be at the park when it opens. That's the beauty of all this. I think a lot of it's quantifiable, but I think I say this for cruises all the time. If you don't get up and see a sunrise on a cruise, that's a crime. It's a crime. I mean, it's so gorgeous. I mean, honestly, I think it stirs your soul. You need to see that. But I mean, I don't think it's as dramatic at a Walt Disney World vacation, but I think it's good to kind of see the place come to life.
For sure. Steve often says to me, I want to be at a resort where we have our own balcony, because that time in the morning, like to enjoy coffee as you watch the resort sort of come alive, or in the evening, if you're having a beer or a glass of wine or a drink of some kind, and you're there watching everyone sort of wind down, is really important. And it is such a great way to start the day. It really gives you an opportunity. Just, I don't know. I always think of that as time to like be grateful and see all these happy families getting ready to start their day. That's heartwarming. Really and truly, to see that happening, to see people waking up and so excited. And, you see the little kid who's like bouncing off the walls about something that he or she is excited about as they are headed to the parks. I love that. Like, that is the stuff that like makes me so happy to see people having that fantastic of a time. There's very few things, I think, that make kids so over the top excited. Now, kids are excited, but like over the top, like being on vacation. And that's a really cool thing to see.
That's one of the things I love. I mean, all caps, bold, italics, underlined. One of the things I love about running at Walt Disney World, not overrun Disney weekend, but when I'm just down there on vacation, I'm getting my miles in the morning, especially. And I picture this more at Pop Century than anywhere else, because I do the laps. It's about a little bit less than a mile around Hourglass Lake. And what you see people starting to get up to go to the Skyliner. You see people getting up to go to breakfast, to go to the buses. And you pass these families and couples and singles, but you see people and you wonder, like, I wonder where they came from. I wonder what park they're going to go to. Cause like, you see families with like the matching shirts, or, they'll have some kind of headgear, some kind of celebration on, and like they have the outfits. And, I don't know if everybody else wonders this kind of stuff, but when I pass families, I'm like, I wonder how long they dreamed about their Disney vacation and like how it came together. Where did they come from? Did they come from South America? Did they come from Georgia? Did they come from Missouri like me? Did they come from Minnesota? And like, how did they find out? How did the kids find out they were going to Walt Disney? I wonder, because when you're out there running, you try to wonder about anything to not think about how bad your legs are hurting, and stuff like that. You want to think about the good. And I do. I like when I pass these families, I'm always wondering, like, what's the story behind? Because every vacation has a story for me, and so everybody else's vacation has a story for them. That's why we do the show. Like, I love telling them on Mondays, but I would just love to know, like, what's their story? And that's the thing. You're surrounded by stories at Walt Disney World. It's so fun, and I think you see it in the morning a lot. So anyway, well, that's the morning show. Hey, we did a morning show together. How's that?
I love it.
And Ricky was here for it.
I was awake for it. Who knew?
All right. So we are going to get out of here and let you get on with your weekend. But again, next Friday, we'll be talking about noon, the noontime when the sun is high. It's hot. But there's reasons to be there. If you want to see a parade at Walt Disney World,
that's the time to do it.
That's it. Okay, so we're going to talk about that next Friday. But until then, don't forget, our shows are always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We're the professional agents. They are standing by. They're Disney experts. They want to take care of you for no fee to you, by the way. And guess what? The agents over the Magic for Less, almost 100% morning people. Just so you know, morning people are cool. So check them out today. Swing by themagicforless.com. You see all the destinations right there across the top of the website. And then just pull down for the site you want more information on. Great resources to get you going. And then fill out that free, no obligation quote form, and an agent will get back to you right away. And we'll be getting you that availability, that pricing, and having the discussion. That's what it's all about. It's about relationships, and it's about helping you plan the most magical vacation ever. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That one extra click warms my heart. It means a lot to us. So please use it as often as you can. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you sincerely to the patrons of the show. You guys support us. You let us put the show out 3 to 4 times a week all around the world. Couldn't do it without you. And our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come on over. We're waiting for you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Too many websites.
Right.
Follow Ricky. She's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS. Follow Pam, TMFLT Pam, PAM. And I'm Be Our Guest Mike. If you can't spell it, you can't follow. And we're on Instagram and Twitter. So give us a follow. Of course, subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube, and join us this Sunday night. It's going to be you, me, and Scotty G. And then next Sunday night, no show, because we're going to be at Disneyland. So you got to get in with us this Sunday night. We're going to have a good time. So be there. YouTube and Facebook, 7:00 Eastern. We want to hear from you. We take your calls. All right, we're going to get out here and have a great weekend. But again, next Friday, we're talking noontime. So be ready for that. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Whatever you do, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That was a good one. That was fun. It was good.
That was fun.
That was fun. You don't want to know what went through my head for a second there. Just it fit along with the first part of that conversation we had earlier today. That was in the middle. Yeah.
Tripod. And Peg, who is a star of Monday's podcast, coming up on the Our Guest podcast, cup of coffee, watching sunrise from the Polynesian beach while hearing announcements of getting ready at the Magic Kingdom is priceless.
That's awesome. I love that.
Well, I don't hear that. I just hear Pop Century, just people yelling, but it's fun.
Yeah, there's that too.
All right, you guys have a good week, and Pam will be following along your adventures.
Yes, I'm gonna be so jealous. When do you leave, Pam?
We leave on Saturday.
Nice.
But I won't be cruising until next week. But
Gotcha.
yeah, we leave on Saturdays.
Awesome.
Boom.
Have a good
I know,
time.
right?
Yes.
All right, we'll see everyone.
All right.
All right.
Peace out, everybody. See ya.
Bye.